Evening. This is Joe Hop, Outlook USA. I went to the March for Our Lives today in Key West. A couple hundred people there. I wore this NRA hat. I had on a sleeveless T-shirt, and I thought, maybe I'll tone it down and soften my look. And I wore an old Grateful Dead T-shirt that I had in the car. It just wears me well. And somebody made a comment about it that I don't even know what. Something about me wanting people dead because I had an old Grateful Dead T-shirt on. I don't know, some innuendo about whatever. It's just a Grateful Dead T-shirt, you know. I thought it was a bit of a complex look. You know, you don't usually see a deadhead with an NRA hat on, so I thought it might suit me well. I talked to a couple people. As long as we kept it real, we got along fine. I got along fine. People on the edges, I got gestured to and threatened and yelled at, and I never said a word the whole time I was there, except to the two people I talked to. Make no mistake about it. All but maybe 4 people there don't want to have any guns in the United States. They all, you know, I listen to them speaking. Their hearts are in the right places. This is how I say it. Their hearts are in the right places, but their emotions are way out of control. They're the hive, the mob thing that I've been seeing on every issue, you know. I did say to one guy who said some nasty things to me. I said, well, because he mentioned that I was one of few people there that, you know, I guess what you would consider counter-protesting, which I wasn't doing. But I said to him, well, you being here doesn't give you 2 votes, you know, in the fall. So they can rant all they want, but it still doesn't get them an extra vote in the booth, you know. And conservatives aren't really the mob mentality kind of people, the collective. I don't really like the collective. It's just you know, it's never boded well in history. I sort of felt like their chants they felt like pitchforks. The chants felt like pitchforks, like they'd like to spear you with their words, you know. Very angry, very saddening. It was sad for me. It was sad that so many adults don't know what to do, you know, about these things, and can't have a conversation with them about anything. They're pawns, really. I don't know what to say. I mentioned to the 2 guys I talked to that all the statistics show that the breakdown of the family, the one parent households, particularly for boys, and in a lesser degree the 2 income household affects children in ways that we haven't begun to investigate or understand. You know, we want to take the guns away from everybody, but we don't want to look at the problems, you know. I'm not coming up with solutions to the cause and effect of no father in a young man's household growing up, you know, with an overwhelmed mother. I'm not blaming her either. It just seems like everything that's happened over the last 40 years has hurt the family the most, you know. And this is just, these shootings are another manifestation of that. I'm sorry. But there were guns around for a long time before these shootings came, you know. What drives these kids? I don't know. We didn't have this stuff when I was a kid. And, you know, they think it's, you know, then they'll go for the gender and the white thing. And you know, my response to that is, yep, these school shootings are white, young men, for the most part. I mean, there's other shootings that go on that are different people. But in the inner city black communities, this hopelessness and rage just manifests itself in other violent acts. You know, they just in the cities. It's first of all they don't report it. because it doesn't benefit their anti-gun cause. 1,000 times more people are dying in the cities than in these school shootings, but that doesn't really fit the agenda. And those areas are already heavily gun-controlled, gun-free areas. The worst gun violence in the country is in the most stringently the most anti-gun laws. The places where a regular old citizen can't get a gun. And my response to their the wishful thinking of no guns and there'd be no death. Well, that would be the case. I might even hear them out. But here's the deal. We never won the gun war. I mean the drug war. We won a war in Afghanistan. We had kids hooked on opiates by low-end doctors and colleagues that wouldn't turn them in. The whole medical field needs a bit of ownership. The pharmaceutical industry and the medical profession needs to take ownership for the opiate epidemic. And then what happened is Obama pulled the wool out on the doctors. He crunch timed the opiates, and at the same time, the country was flooded with heroin from countries like Afghanistan. If we can't keep shiploads of heroin, crates full of heroin, from being brought into this country, from places that we just conquered, what in the world thinks you we're going to keep guns from the bad guys, And so many of those people said, well, it's there for hunting. Come on. The Second Amendment has nothing to do, very little to do with hunting. It has more to do, it has everything to do with defense against tyranny, which has occurred if people like to leave history out of these situations, and it has to do with self-defense and defense of your family. And, these laws are only going to make things worse. If I thought they'd make things better, I'd at least deliberate on them. But it's just absurd to me to take away millions and millions of people's rights because of bad people. We're letting bad people take away the rights of good people. Look at Al-Qaeda and 9/11. Think of all the rights that we've lost and all the privacy we've lost because of bad people. When's it going to end? No. Anyway, it was saddening to see so many people in such a collective mentality of hatred towards anybody who didn't think like them. That's all I can say. Thank you.